What's up, everybody? Robbie here with the Nerd Cave Network, and today I am bringing you my impression of Ready Player One. Okay, first off, I'll go on record as saying I loved the movie, and with that, I will tell you what I loved about the movie and some of the things I didn't love about the movie. But first, I want to say, go read the book. If you haven't read the book yet, I would highly gotta read the book. I would just say that. Just go ahead, read the book. It was great. Loved it from beginning to end. Now, to Steven Spielberg's creation of Ready Player One. It was great. It was fun. It was nostalgia. I mean, just running over. Now, one thing that I really loved was seeing all of the cartoons, movie references that I grew up loving. Chucky, not so much. Still terrified of Chucky. But, I mean, I still got a good laugh out of Chucky. Now, the idea of this movie is Wade Watts is in, I want to say it was Cleveland, Ohio. And, I mean, as you could see, the times are rough. And the only escape that they have is to go into the Oasis. And, you know, it is a virtual reality, which is what all of us nerds really want to have in our life, is this virtual reality. And you kind of see Wade kind of grow as the kid that's, you know, afraid to lose his life because, you know, he's a kid, he doesn't have a lot of money, and, you know, once you zero out, that's it. Like, you have to restart, and, you know, nobody wants to do that. So he plays it safe. And like I said, everything was just stunning. And a lot of CGI went into it. And, you know, my wife was she was like, wow, I didn't expect it to be that much CGI. I was like, when you're going into a game universe, it's gonna have a little bit. But like one of the things that I liked is the creator of the Oasis. I loved his character, and for some reason, his name is escaping me. But his character was so like not antisocial, but in a way where he does not interact with people well. And you see it when, you know, he's going on the date with the love of his life that, you know, Ogden Morrow ended up, you know, being with and everything like that. So you kind of see the inside the brain, you would say, of the creator of the Oasis. And like all this time you're seeing Wade Watts and you know, the high five, which are, you know, Sho, Daito, H, Artemis, and Parsifal. And they're going and they're figuring out the keys. They're gathering the keys, which is what they have to do in order to find the Easter egg, which being released on Easter weekend, great idea. I mean, that was just killer. Some of the things I loved, like I said, was the nostalgia. I loved that, you know, it's a video game movie type thing. It was beautifully done. Spielberg done a great job. Some issues that I had, pacing was a little, at times it was kind of rough, but like I said, I mean, it did well. One thing that I didn't like, and I know it is very hard to squeeze an entire book into a 2.5 hour movie, is they changed a lot. They changed, you know, different things that happened to Parsifal, that happened to Artemis, how they all met in real life, and, you know, different things like that, and especially the keys. They changed a lot about the keys and everything, and about how they had to get the keys and what they had to do. Even with them changing all that stuff, I thought that it was a really good movie, and I think you really need to go see it. I'm telling you, I would say, because I went and saw it August 1st, I would say it's the best movie of August. But I know Infinity War is probably going to blow it out of the water. But I will definitely say, go watch this movie. I mean, Spielberg did a masterful job. If you grew up in the 80s and the 90s, this is a movie for you. I would definitely recommend it to everybody. Be careful if you're bringing children, very young children, into this, because, you know, there a few cuss words. There is a scary movie. They reenact a scene from The Shining. So you got to be careful with that. There's no sex, but there are, what could lead into it, like, different things like that. So be careful with that. Now that I've talked about the fluff, I'm going to give you a little bit of more in-depth. I'll kind of go behind the curtain. So this will have some spoilers. So if you have not seen Ready Player One, I suggest you, after you see me pat my head, I would move on or just stop right here. So here it is. Spoiler territory. Be careful. Be careful. Okay. In the book, the keys led to the door. You had to figure out what they were talking about when they gave you the piece of paper with the clue. You found the key. Well, then you had to go find the door. So they kind of changed that a little bit. Like I said, you figured out the clue. You got the key. Like I said, there usually was a step further in the book, but like I said, you can't fit everything in there. One thing that I didn't like that they kind of left out and kind of threw it around in a different spin. Artemis ended up going to one of the loyalty centers that IOI had, but in the book, it was actually Parsifal. Wade Watts actually went and changed his identity, made him older and all that stuff, and ended up racking up debt so he would be put into one of the loyalty centers, and he was able to shut down the giant force field. He was able to do a few other things within IOI under their own nose. So I liked that aspect because it was more like spy games type thing. He was able to come in and do what he needed to do, and he was still able to have a plan to get out. Also, another thing that I liked was how they all met. In the book, it was they never met each other until Ogden Morrow went and kind of saved them from being killed. Because, obviously, what's his name, leader of IOI, was coming to take these guys out. He wanted to be the one to have all the controlling stocks in the Oasis. Well, Ogden brings them in, and that's the first time Parsifal sees Artemis, which is his love interest. He sees her in the garden, talks to her. When he's in the loyalty center, he does get a hold of some files, and he sees what she looks like. He sees the birthmark and everything like that, and he's like, I'm not disappointed in what I see. So, and then after Wade finds the Easter egg is when they have the first kiss. In this one, it was a lot different. She was in the Resistance, so. Like I said, it changed a lot, but I understood why they had to change it. They had to change it because they had to fit a lot into a movie. Like I said, the movie was great. I highly enjoyed it. There was a few things that I kind of wish they would have stayed more on course with the book. But at the end of the day, other books to movies have failed miserably. I would say Ready Player One, with Spielberg backing it, has done an amazing job. And I think that if you haven't seen it, I would definitely go out there and watch it. Not only for the 80s and 90s nostalgia, but just for the way it was shot. Like, there were some stunning moments, like when you see the people jumping off into that like anti-gravity funnel type thing, and you see them dancing up in the air. And when they're and speaking of the same dance club, Parsifal equips his dance that he wants to do, and he brings it back to some disco and the rock and roll. I mean, it was just such a cool moment. And there's quite a few of those cool moments in the movie, and I will say, and I'll end it with this, one of my favorite parts was the big battle scene at the end. Usually big battles is where they lose me. I know Black Panther kind of lost me at the big battle there, but this one was actually really, really enjoyable because not only did you see the Iron Giant, and when the Iron Giant died, he even did the thumbs up that he did from the movie. Another thing was when Wade Watts was, doing his rally and call, he even did the Breakfast Club. I mean, just all these subtle nods. The music was full 80s soundtrack. I mean, what else can you expect? I mean, the music was phenomenal, and that's one of the first things that I always pick up in a movie. Is always, how was the music? Black Panther's music blew me away. Thor Ragnarok, music was amazing. Ready Player One, oh my gosh, did I love it. Like, it was just, I mean, it was a fun 80s ride. And that's where I'm going to leave you. It was a fun 80s ride. If you have not seen Ready Player One, I know it's freshly out, but go watch it. I mean, the IMAX would be a great place to watch it. IMAX 3D, seeing all the coins flying at your face. Definitely go and watch it. Guys, I sure do appreciate you watching me give this impression. It's so fun to be able to bring you this. If you want to check out more, we do a gaming stream on Tuesday and Thursday nights called Nerd Cave Plus, where we talk about all the nerdy goodness in the game world, what games are coming out, what's going on in the game world. We also do the Nerd Cave podcast. It is broken down for you throughout the week over on YouTube and podcast services around the world, where we talk about just random pop culture stuff, whether it be books, movies, video games, tons and tons of different things. So be sure to check us out there. And also, if you have, some extra cash laying around, whether it's $1, whether it's $50, whatever you can afford, Patreon is what helps keep our lights on. And sometimes, we need all the help we can get. When you look at some of the stuff in here, it can end up costing a pretty penny. So if you have just $1, go over to patreon.com/nerdcave and support us. We have different tiers. Like our $5 tier, you get entered into a quarterly chance. You have 3 chances to win something, and that's just for $5, and it goes up from there. We try to make all of our different spots as appetizing as possible. So that's it for me, guys. Like I said, this is Robbie from the Nerd Cave, and I hope you enjoyed my impression of Ready Player One.